I was 50 years old and had never been in a relationship, simply because Liam claimed he had a fear of intimacy. I gave Liam all my life's savings, while my mother and I lived in a dilapidated, cramped rental apartment. I believed that if I persevered, I could take our relationship further with Liam. But then my mother died, angered to death when I declared for the 999th time that I would marry no one but Liam. At that very moment, Liam was at the hospital with my best friend, welcoming their grandson and enjoying the happiness of 3 generations together. Until her dying breath, my mother never got to use a single penny of my money. I died too, beaten to death on the spot by their son after I discovered Liam's affair with my best friend. Liam and my best friend remained the model couple everyone envied. And I stayed forever in their basement. When I opened my eyes again, I was back when I was 18. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. Luna, are you feeling better? Hearing's voice, my immediate reaction was resistance. Having just faced a death crisis, I was now filled with a fierce will to survive. I didn't want to die, I wanted to live. I instinctively threw a punch, and a scream followed. Ah! My nose. Skylar clutched her nose, blood oozing between her fingers. Skylar's nose was still in the recovery period from plastic surgery, and my punch had landed right on her livelihood. Huh? Her nose? I slowly opened my eyes. What greeted me was a white ceiling and 18-year-old Skylar. Isn't this the school infirmary? I murmured, a little confused by the familiar surroundings. Luna, you suffered from heatstroke. Instructor was the one who told me to bring you to the infirmary, Skylar explained, enduring the pain. She wiped away the blood, trying to look less alarming. Skylar's persona at school was that of an innocent, understanding sweet girl, someone who wouldn't easily lose her temper. Furthermore, she didn't want anyone to know that her high nose bridge was from surgery. Skylar came from a poor family, with her tuition fees earned by grandma scavenging. During her high school breaks, she earned a lot of money working as a hostess. Skylar spent all this money on her appearance, only to hook a wealthy suitor in college, marry into a wealthy family, and live comfortably. The only reason I knew all this was because in my previous life, Skylar told me to pity her so she could borrow money from me. At the time, I was brainwashed by her and actually thought she was a very inspiring girl. Now, it seemed it was nothing more than her vanity at play. In my previous life, Skylar did manage to live a financially secure life, but all the wealthy heirs she placed her hopes in merely treated her as a plaything. It was through my tireless work day and night, supporting her entire family, that she got to live her dream life. She trampled on my dignity and pain, living a lifetime of happiness. At this thought, I couldn't help but clench my fists. Given a second chance at life, I will make you all taste what it's like to lose everything. While was too much in pain to open her eyes, I quickly scribbled a few words on a tissue paper from the infirmary. Skylar, are you okay? I'm so sorry, I just reacted instinctively. I quickly went over to help Skylar up, looking apologetic. As if she was the only one who could put on an act. My long-term experience as a hostess in my previous life had honed my acting skills to a point where I could win Best Actress. It's okay, Luna. I'm just relieved you're alright. Since you're better, let's go back to summer camp, Skylar said, though inwardly she cursed me 1,000 times. Looking at Skylar's sweet and understanding demeanor, I felt a sharp pang in my chest. In my previous life, I had been deceived by her sweet, understanding facade. It turned out I was the truly naive and gullible one. Instructor didn't make Skylar and me return to the training queue, but instead let us rest in the shade. In my previous life, I never participated in summer camp again after that heat stroke, and Skylar also used her poor physical condition and the excuse of needing to take care of me to skip the rest of the training. Watching and instructor flirting, I honestly felt disgusted. I once thought instructor was just a kind person for not making us train. Now, it seemed, instructor was merely concerned for his close female friend. These two were truly shameless. If they liked each other so much, why not just make your relationship public? Soon, training ended, and instructor came over to check on me. On the surface, he was concerned for me, but he sat next to Skylar. Instructor was not only rugged and handsome but also rumored to be a wealthy heir. Many girls in school were secretly keeping an eye on him. In my previous life, after summer camp, there were many posts on the school online forum accusing instructor of coaxing female students into hotel rooms, but at the time, there was no conclusive evidence. The posts were eventually harassed until the posts were deleted by instructor's obsessed fans, and I was one of those obsessed fans. Thank you for your concern, instructor. I'm fine, but Skylar was accidentally injured while taking care of me, and her nose bled a lot. There was no one in the infirmary just now, so I don't know if her nose is okay. I deliberately mentioned Skylar's nose. I'm fine, let's go eat. Skylar lowered her head, a little nervous, and linked her arm through mine, trying to pull me away. Why are you shy, Skylar? Don't be shy, let instructor see your injured nose. I deliberately guided instructor, making him misunderstand that Skylar was simply being shy. While was pulling me away with her head down and instructor was looking at her, I subtly dropped a tissue paper from the hand that was linked with Skylar's arm. Hearing me say to let instructor look at her nose, SKYL. AR became even more scared. Her nose was in recovery, and having just been injured again, any abnormality would be easily noticeable. She pulled me away with even more force. You dropped your tissue paper, Skylar. I pretended to lose my balance as Skylar pulled me, lightly leaving that comment behind. The show was about to begin, the rest was up to the main characters. Instructor looked at the tissue paper, on which there appeared to be some words. He picked it up, a knowing expression on his face. 2 a.m., Velocity entrance. Velocity was the most expensive nightclub in the area, and nearly all the young gentlemen who went there were wealthy. During her freshman year, Skylar worked part-time every night at a late-night diner near Velocity. She would finish work at midnight, then take a walk around Velocity. Because came from a poor family and needed to earn a living, the late-night diner owner knew her counselor and provided lodging, so Skylar had permission to not return to the dorms at night. However, Skylar's real goal in working part-time wasn't to earn a living but to wait for drunk wealthy heirs. The wealthy heir's favorite script was Saving Cinderella. It wasn't that I was unaware of what Skylar did in my previous life. I knew all about it and even helped her create a persona of being bullied in the dorms. At the time, I was brainwashed by Skylar and believed everything she did was right. Tonight, Skylar was again heading to her late-night diner job. Tonight was definitely going to be interesting. I was already looking forward to it. Soon, evening arrived. Skylar indeed went to the late-night diner, but I didn't want to risk punishment by going out in the middle of the night to see Skylar make a fool of herself. I had already hired paparazzi to take candid photos and leak the information to instructors' fangirls. There was definitely going to be a good show tonight. While waiting for updates, I bought some cosmetics online. In my previous life, the digital industry had allowed many people to achieve financial freedom, especially the beauty influencer market, which was very lucrative. Now was just the beginning of the internet era, and not many people were active online. People scoffed at influencers feigning ignorance in their videos. In my previous life, I was constantly chasing after Liam, never learning to dress myself up, and pouring all my heart into my feelings for him. I was acting like his mother during the prime of my youth. Fortunately, later, when I was working as a hostess, I learned makeup skills to earn more money. Due to long-term makeup application, I was quite knowledgeable about skincare products and cosmetics. Though it was only superficial knowledge, it was more than enough to become a beauty influencer in the current era. Although my family wasn't wealthy, with my mother raising me alone, she always indulged my financial needs. She was never stingy with my allowance, which was even more than my peers. In my previous life, faced with such a mother, I not only never felt grateful but made endless demands, spending all of my mother's hard-earned money on Liam. Luckily, I had such a mother, only now could I afford to buy cosmetics. Thinking of this, I vowed that in this lifetime, I would make my mother live a good life. Ding ding. Immersed in buying cosmetics, I suddenly realized it was already 3 in the morning. Clicking on the pictures the paparazzi sent me, I was stunned. In my previous life, I only knew instructor wasn't a good person, but I never expected him to do something like this. The photos showed a private room at Velocity. They were blurry, but instructor's face and a naked woman could vaguely be seen. Since the curtain was only slightly open, the woman's face was obscured. But I knew it was Skylar. Because I had hired the paparazzi to track Skylar, he didn't recognize instructor. What I hadn't expected was that instructor would resort to drugging her. Although like to hook Welt high airs, she wasn't foolish. She wouldn't surrender her most precious asset until she was completely confident of her plan. While the outcome surprised me, I was very satisfied. The suffering I endured in my previous life was far more than this. This was just the beginning. It was 3 in the morning, and the student council dorm checks had long since finished. I impatiently climbed out of the dorm room window. This was the advantage of living on the first floor dorm. I wanted to see Skylar suffer with my own eyes. Arriving at Velocity, the curtain in instructor's private room was still slightly open. He didn't seem to notice anything amiss. After all, unless viewed from a tricky angle, one wouldn't see this scene of passionate activity. and the other guests were lost in the music, oblivious to them. "Glasses girl, what are you looking at? This bar isn't a place for you." A clear voice cut through the noisy music, startling me. Leo followed my gaze and, as expected, saw instructor's athletic movements. He snapped his fan shut and tapped it on my head. Laughing, he said, "Oh, glasses girl, that's not for your eyes." A sharp pain shot through my head, making me recoil. I looked at Leo. He was a handsome guy, but unfortunately, I was no longer an 18-year-old girl and had long lost interest in such young men. "Are you sick? Get lost." I turned and walked away, not wanting to stay in this place of trouble. "No, glasses girl, you seem naive and provincial, but why do you speak so fiercely?" Leo followed me. Having just finished the college entrance exam, the nickname Glasses Girl certainly fit my image. I wore thick-rimmed glasses and a loose t-shirt, and my skin was tanned dark from summer camp because I hadn't used any sun protection. Appearing in an expensive bar definitely made me seem out of place. I didn't respond. I knew that if I spoke, he would just keep asking questions. In the end, I underestimated his shamelessness. Seeing that I ignored him, he seemed even more excited and started chattering incessantly. "Girls shouldn't be so fierce. Look how petite you are, you can't fight anyone, and if you speak so harshly, you might get bullied." I really couldn't take it anymore. He talked too much. I quickened my pace. "Can't you walk slower? Little short legs walks pretty fast." "My name is Leo, what's yours?" "I don't mean anything by it, I just think you're cute and want to be friends." It was the first time anyone had called me cute. A complex emotion spread through me. In this ugly state, someone actually thought I was cute. Luna. After that, I took a taxi and left. Back in my dorm room, I casually sent the anonymous photos to a major blogger on the school online forum. In my kindness, I still blurred instructor's face. After all, controversy ensures sustained attention. Lying in my dorm room, I couldn't fall asleep for a long time. Everything had happened so quickly. Yesterday, I had just experienced my mother's death and being brutally beaten by Liam and Skylar's son, and today I was back when I was 18. Drowsily, I felt someone enter. It was Skylar. This was a two-person dorm room, and only she had a key. I heard Skylar's suppressed sobs. At this point, she was just a slightly manipulative student, not yet as shrewd and malicious as she was in my previous life. Having gone through all that, she was incredibly vulnerable right now. Seeing her like this, I felt a hint of compassion. However, remembering that I had also gone through similar experiences in my previous life, and had even been tricked by Skylar into getting hymenoplasty with the excuse that Liam wouldn't like used goods, the pain of my past life significantly reduced my compassion. I pretended to wake up and looked at Skylar with concern. "Skylar, are you okay? Why are you crying?" "I'm fine. My beloved grandfather passed away," Skylar said, wiping away her tears. Even with such a huge event, she was still trying to maintain her persona. I truly admired her for that. "I'm sorry, Skylar." "My condolences," I said, feigning guilt. "It's okay. Skylar, since it's the weekend, why don't you get ready and I'll take you out to clear your head? Staying alone will only make you unhappier." In my previous life, I met Liam after summer camp, but this life, I was eager to meet Liam already. Liam and Skylar's betrayal was like a needle piercing my heart. Liam played basketball every weekend at the basketball court. This was the perfect opportunity. Seeing hesitate, I added, "I hear there are a lot of guys playing basketball on the court. Let's go check it out. Maybe you'll even meet your Mr. Right." Mr. Right. This was the one reason Skylar could never refuse. "Mr. Right? You're about to meet your Mr. Right, Liam." Arriving at the basketball court, sure enough, Liam was there. Looking at 18-year-old Liam, I felt a pang of emotion. Was this the man who ruined my life? Now, it seemed he was nothing special. And the people next to him, huh? Isn't that the guy from the bar? Good thing he didn't see Skylar last night, otherwise. "Skylar, that guy in the blue t-shirt is really good at basketball." I suppressed my disgust and directed Skylar's gaze toward Liam. That's how I met Liam in my previous life, except I asked for his contact information after losing a game, and from then on, I was deeply entangled. Liam's family was somewhat well off but not rich, just average. This kind of family wasn't Skylar's target. You can't miss out on love. If you like him, go for it boldly. It was that same phrase. In my previous life, it was that phrase that pushed me to the brink again and again. Skylar always spoke without understanding the pain it caused. In my previous life, I considered her my best friend, yet she constantly incited me to fawn over Liam, euphemistically calling it fighting for love. In this life, I'll make you two walk that path. Okay. I knew Skylar wouldn't actively ask a guy for his contact information, so I decided to take the initiative. Hi, can I get your contact info? I knew Liam wouldn't refuse me, even if I looked a bit provincial. He never refused anyone who pursued him. Sure, I'm Liam. Liam took out his QR code. Luna. It's you. So we're at the same school, what a coincidence. I'm a handsome guy right here, why aren't you adding me? Leo saw me and immediately walked over, insisting on getting my contact information. Let's all go for dinner after the game. I was eager for Liam and Skylar to meet. Absolutely, I'm treating. Leo was very happy, as if he was the one being invited. Liam, do you have plans later? I looked at Liam. He's free, go ahead, Liam. Leo put an arm around Liam's shoulder. Are you two very close? In my previous life, to pursue Liam, I knew all his friends inside out. I didn't know he had someone like this by his side. Not close, but we will be after dinner. Leo shrugged it off. Looking at Leo, I felt he had a certain charming cluelessness about him. I have another friend over there, let's go together. I led the two of them towards Skylar. Skylar, let's go eat together. He's treating, I said, pointing at Leo. That's right, beautiful, join us, Leo said, with a smirk. Just call me Skylar. We went to a lively restaurant, and while waiting for our dishes, we heard people at the next table chatting about the school online forum. I figured yesterday's events must have escalated, but with Leo around, I couldn't bring it up. Liam, which department are you in? I suppressed the disgust in my heart, trying to project the image of someone who liked Liam. I expected Skylar to play the role of sabotaging my relationship with Liam, as she always had. But to my surprise, Skylar wasn't focusing on Liam at all. She was completely engrossed in Leo, chatting with him. Without between Liam and me, Liam didn't seem to mind my advances at all, and even wanted to get to know me better. Seeing things not go as I'd imagined, I felt a little vexed. After dinner, Leo still wanted to invite everyone to sing karaoke, but I refused, citing that I wasn't feeling well. I couldn't let those despicable cheaters have a comfortable day. I had to proceed with the next plan. Luna, are you and Leo close? What's your relationship? Skylar's first question when we returned to the dorm room was about Leo. I was a little confused as to why Skylar would be interested in Leo. Before figuring out Skylar's intentions, I decided to answer cautiously. Just good friends. Why? Luna, you actually know the young gentleman from Ether? What does your family do? I was a bit shocked. Ether? It was one of the top corporations in the country. Leo certainly didn't look the part. Even with a storm churning within her, I maintained my composure. We are merely acquaintances. I don't know much about him. Luna, you wouldn't happen to like him, would you? I heard he's engaged to the heiress of Hudson, Skylar asked cautiously, looking at me. There was no heiress of Hudson in my previous life. I was a bit confused. Seeing's worried expression, I snorted inwardly. A leopard doesn't change its spots. She was already thinking of chasing a rich man again. No, Skylar, I like Liam. Skylar sighed in relief at my words. Skylar, have you seen the post on the online forum? This girl is so pathetic. I picked up my phone. What post? Skylar's face instantly turned pale after seeing the post. She didn't bother maintaining her image, snatching my phone away. Only when she saw that her face was obscured by the curtain did she sigh in relief. Skylar, what's wrong? Your face is so pale. Nothing, I just feel bad for that girl, Skylar said, returning my phone to me. Skylar, you're so kind. But if something like this happened to a girl, her boyfriend would definitely be uncomfortable later. After all, no man likes used goods. If I were her, I'd want to jump into the ocean. I returned all of Skylar's words from my previous life back to her. Skylar managed a strained smile after hearing my words, but didn't reply. But since her face isn't shown, this girl still has a chance. Couldn't she just get a repair surgery? Skylar looked a bit surprised at my words. Can something like that really be repaired? Of course, technology is so advanced these days. You can get it done at a cosmetic clinic. I specified the location. That must be expensive, right? Skylar asked tentatively. Can't you get a loan now? At this, I ended the conversation, citing that I was tired. After all, Skylar was no innocent persona. I knew when to make my point subtly. The cosmetics arrived quickly, so I started operating short videos. My ahead-of-its-time makeup techniques quickly gained popularity, and I soon started earning money. I sent a large portion of this money back to my mom. Because of what happened in my previous life, I had been afraid to go home and visit her. Skylar had been out and about a lot during this time, and her complexion wasn't good, likely busy with surgical repair. After all, the pain of surgical repair isn't something everyone can tolerate. One day, Leo invited us to sing karaoke again. I called Skylar along. I was still wearing my thick-rimmed glasses and braids, but I had become much fairer. "Glasses girl, can't you take off those glasses?" Leo started to banter the moment he saw me. "Mind your own business," I muttered. "I saw your account, it's beautiful." Leo leaned in, lowering his voice. I felt a warmth on my ear. Having lived this long, I had never been so close to a guy. My face flushed. "Get lost," I kicked Leo. Skylar, watching my interaction with Leo, clenched her jaw. After all, compared to her, I was inferior in every way. When we arrived at the karaoke bar, Leo kept singing love songs into the microphone, like a peacock fanning its tail, occasionally giving me a flirtatious wink. This made Skylar, who was singing love songs with him, extremely awkward. Skylar sang beautifully, and with her good voice, she had captured the hearts of many wealthy heirs. But at this moment, Leo didn't even glance at her. I looked at Liam. During this time, I had been bringing him breakfast every day, playing the role of a devoted admirer to perfection. It was time to set him up, so I extended an offer to him. "Liam, look." I showed Liam my balance and account. I had earned a lot of money through social media during this time. While not a huge sum, it was a huge sum of money for a university student. "Liam, I know you haven't rejected me because of your fear of intimacy, but I believe I will eventually move you. I want to build a home together with you. Shall we work hard for it?" I looked at Liam sincerely. "Luna, it's really impressive that you've earned so much money on your own. I don't deserve you." Liam said he didn't deserve me while holding my hand. "It's okay. Will you join me? All my money is yours, it's for our little family's future." I resisted the urge to pull my hand away, continuing to play my role as a devoted admirer. What should I do? The fish had taken the bait. "I want to start a social media company, but as a young woman, I can't handle it alone. Can you help me?" "Yes, I can." "Then register it as a company. You be the boss and manage the finances." After I said that, I transferred the money to Liam. "It's dangerous for me, a girl, to have so much money. Let's just tell everyone outside that this company is yours, okay? We need to keep our relationship a secret." "Okay, I'll go apply now." The overwhelming prospect of wealth left Liam disoriented. "Wait, I only have this much money. Starting a company still needs," I said, looking troubled. "It's okay, my parents are very supportive of me starting a business," Liam said, patted my hand, and left the karaoke bar. "Liam, where are you going?" Leo asked Liam. "I have something to do." Only I, Leo, and Skylar were left in the karaoke bar, staring at each other. "Luna, don't you have something to do later?" Skylar gave me a meaningful look, hinting for me to leave. I had no intention of revealing my true feelings to Skylar yet, so I left the private room. Everything was going according to my plan, so I decided to go home and see my mother. Seeing the cramped rental apartment, tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. The aroma of cooking wafted into my nose. Wiping away my tears, making sure I didn't look out of place, I stepped into the kitchen. Seeing my mother bustling about, my recently dried eyes filled with tears again. "Mom, don't work so hard. Let me do it. It's okay. It's rare for you to come home, you should rest. Your face is tanned from summer camp. Look, today we're having your favorite crawfish. All the money you sent me, I've saved for you, to be your wedding fund later." My mother was always planning for my future life, but I had let her down time and time again. My mother deeply understood the challenges of a woman making her way in the world, so she always wanted me to find a good man and marry into a good family. "Mom, it hasn't been easy for you all these years, raising me," I hugged my mother. "What are you saying? I only wish for your happiness, that you find a good man and marry into a good family." My mother patted my back. "I don't want that at all. Men are no good. If had been a good man, you wouldn't have struggled so much all these years." I always resented him. Seeing my resentful expression, my mother wiped away my tears. "Luna, I'm sorry. Your father is a good man, I lied to you." My mother turned away. "Mom, what are you talking about? How can a man who abandoned his family be a good person?" I turned my mother's body back around. "Luna, your father didn't abandon you, it was all out of necessity. Now that you're grown up and capable of earning your own living, I won't hide it from you anymore." My mother held my hand. "Luna, actually, your maternal grandfather was the CEO of Monarch. Back then, your father and he is now the head of Hudson, were childhood sweethearts who grew up together. With the blessing of both families, we married naturally. However, unforeseen events occurred. Eventually, the Monarch family faced ruin, while the Hudson family flourished. At that time, your paternal grandmother threatened us to separate, forcing your father to marry someone else. Your father was unwilling, it was me. At this point, my mother couldn't continue. Mom, you have me now. This time, it was my turn to wipe away my mother's tears. Luna, don't blame your father. It was my fault for not persevering back then, letting you live such a hard life for so long. You should have been a cherished princess. Mom, I have you, I won't cry. I hadn't expected that being reborn, my life would change so drastically, and my mother had kept such a big secret from me. Being reborn, I understood that gentle people are easily taken advantage of. I was no innocent persona. Since group had a part of me and my mother, I would assert my claim. I couldn't let my mother live in a cramped rental apartment for the rest of her life. I decided to find my biological father. Hello, do you have an appointment? No, you can't go in without an appointment. At this point, I was nobody, so I could only wait at the entrance. After waiting for 2 days, I finally saw my father. He was wearing a suit and looked much younger than my mother. Catherine! Catherine! I'm waiting for you. I ran up desperately, shouting. A security guard came and stopped me. Stop, young lady, you. Richard was about to ask who I was when he saw my face, and his expression filled with heartache. When I came to confront Richard, I had already swapped my thick-rimmed glasses for contact lenses. Since my mother and I didn't resemble each other, it was obvious who I looked like, and I had to get Richard on my side first. Young lady, let's go upstairs to talk about whatever it is. I followed Richard upstairs. The floor was very high and luxurious, a luxe Yuri I had never seen in my life. Are you Luna? Richard's trembling hand reached out to touch my face. No, I'm Luna. I turned my head away. Is your mother doing well? He withdrew his hand. Very well, just much older, not as young as you. I told the truth. Good. Since you've come to find me, I presume Catherine has told you everything. Now I am a solitary figure. I don't ask for your mother's forgiveness, but are you willing to come back? Richard looked at me with a pleading expression. What about your children? A solitary figure? I was a bit confused. Perhaps it's because I disappointed many people. The few children I had passed away young. Their mothers had congenital heart conditions. Now, you are my only bloodline, Luna. Are you willing to come back? Richard asked again. I don't understand anything. What good would it do for me to come back? It's okay, Luna. I'm still young now. I can send you to study abroad first. Your mother was highly capable in the business world back then, you certainly won't lose. I'll think about it. I still have things I haven't finished. I hesitated a bit. I hadn't yet made Skylar and Liam suffer their deserved punishment. It's okay, Luna. I know everything is too sudden. Here is my supplementary credit card, no PIN required. Take your time to consider. Richard handed me a card. Back in my dorm room, I received a message from Leo that made me overjoyed. He said Skylar had drugged him, but luckily he had the willpower, or else his virginity would have been gone. When we finished chatting, I offered to treat Leo to dinner, and he finally calmed down, even advising me to stay away from Skylar, saying she was a maniac. Liam started the company, and I led him to sign many promising talents. The company was flourishing. Liam thus rose to become a major business owner, and his family members also quit their jobs to help run the company. I used the excuse of fearing that others would discover our relationship, and I did not register the account under the company's name. Liam also treated me better and better, even hung on my every word. At this time, I also moved out of the dorm room and into a nice house that Richard had bought for my mother and me, and began studying English in preparation for studying abroad. The influencers Liam signed were not innocent personas. On the surface, they presented an innocent, devoted to his wife, loyal persona, but secretly they engaged in all sorts of activities. These personas were the most effective at attracting followers and quickly gained popularity, but they were also the most easily exposed. Unfortunately, Liam didn't realize any of this, simply reveling in the joy of success. I found several major bloggers and leaked all the private information about the influencers in the company. Since the company was staffed by Liam's relatives, there were no professional public relations staff. Not only did they fail to effectively contain the spread of negative news, but they caused the scandals to spiral, leading to many influencer accounts being reported. To clear their names, the company incurred a lot of debt. Liam was unwilling to give up on these influencers and kept borrowing money, eventually leading to no banks willing to lend. Watching a visibly aged Liam, I felt secretly delighted. At this point, Liam had become a gambler. I had someone set him up, causing him to amass debts to loan sharks. At this time, news of predatory nude lending schemes dominated major TV platforms. Opening the school online forum, I actually saw photos of Skylar borrowing from a nude lending scheme. Although blurred, Skylar's face was very clear. So that's how she funded her repair surgery, typical of her. Seeing in such a miserable state, I also anonymously leaked and censored photos of instructor. What I didn't expect was that instructor couldn't endure the public backlash and actually came forward to expose Skylar, claiming that Skylar had seduced him. Ultimately, the scandal became too big, and the school had no choice but to expel Skylar from school. Knowing this news, I was on a plane to the US, looking out the window, feeling incredibly happy. To repay his debts, Liam worked day and night, juggling multiple jobs, but his debts only grew larger. Finally, he jumped to his death. I felt regret, but more than that, it was a sigh of relief. The affairs of my previous life were finally over. After returning to the country, Richard held a lavish birthday celebration for me, announcing to the world that I was his beloved daughter. At the party, I saw Leo, who didn't seem surprised to see me. "Hey there, glasses girl. I told you you're beautiful without your glasses, didn't I?" With the blessing of our parents, Leo and I fulfilled the arranged engagement made by our elders. What I hadn't expected was to see Skylar at Leo and my engagement party. She tried to disrupt Leo and my engagement but was ultimately discovered and apprehended by security, then taken to the police station, where it was discovered she had gone insane. Finally, Leo and I had her sent to a psychiatric facility. Thank you for listening to today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts and perspectives in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.